Hey everybody, Steve Rack, and I am ready for another 5 on Friday. Are you guys? I got my questions. I appreciate you guys asking the questions in the comments. Listen, I asked, you guys did it. Awesome. I appreciate it. So anyway, here we go. I'm ready to do it. I hope you are too. All right, hey, my first question comes from Randy Mitchell. In the course of a week, what problems consume most of your time? And can you systemize a solution? I seem to be distracted by the simplest of problems. Randy Van Worth, that's a great question, and we are running businesses, so we have to deal with problems on a pretty much a constant basis. We have equipment problems, employee problems, we have money problems, we have customer problems, and you're constantly juggling those. Some of the things that I do in my mind a little bit is I try to look at what's the reward. So we're busy doing all this work. What kind of reward is there in my mind for dealing with some of these problems? So maybe I made a couple of good sales this week. Maybe I had a couple of good meetings with my employees or customers this week. Maybe I got a good attaboy from a customer, a good review. So I try to reward myself with that, so I'm not always getting brought down by the negativity of the issues that we have, because there is a lot of it, and I totally get that. The other thing, as far as systemizing, I try to get very systemized with my time. So I've said this before in my other videos. I try to make my weeks as follows. So my Mondays and Wednesdays are office time. Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm on the road. So say somebody complains, I've got an issue that I have to go look at. So somebody broke a sewer cap in one of somebody's lawns, and I have to go out and take a look at it. If I have to go out and look at that, I'm going to do it on Tuesday or Thursday. I'm not just going to jump right in if there's a fire to put out and just deal with every problem as it comes head on. Sometimes you have to put it, you call it the problem garage. You put it in the garage for a little bit, and if it's something that can wait a day or two. Now, some issues can't wait. Some issues have to be dealt with right away. So I totally understand that. But other issues, you can wait for. So you have to kind of prioritize what the problems are. You can't let them get to you. It's hard to not take them home. I totally understand that. I do my fair share of taking things home. I'm somewhat obsessive, so I'll obsess over a problem sometimes. The one thing that's really, I don't think is a good idea is if you're constantly talking about your problems with everybody and kind of just being a Debbie Downer, like, oh man, this sucks, I can't ever find help, I can't, my mowers are breaking down, my truck's not running, my customers aren't happy. I mean, all that stuff can really start bringing you down as a person, personally and professionally. So I think that it's super important to try and put things into perspective, and whatever you can do to maybe let off a little steam, kind of, when you go home at night, just try to relax a little bit, spend some time with the family. I like to play the guitar, so I'll do that. Whatever you have to do to kind of alleviate some of the stress that comes along with the problems in your company. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers your question. Next question, Randy Mitchell. Hey man, you did 2 questions. Awesome. How often do you redesign the company's storefront, and do you treat the office design like it's an HOA or a potential commercial client's property, showcasing your ideas and skill sets? I wish that I could say, honestly say yes to that question. Like we're constantly updating and making this place look as great as possible. And honestly, we're not. We try to keep it, looking as good as we can. We try to keep the grass cut. We try to keep the weeds down. We're on a main street here, so we have a lot of traffic going by. We have a decent sign out front, but we really don't have anything super fancy out there. And I think, and my brother and I have talked about this because we own this building together. My brother owns a design build firm, and we're commercial maintenance. So, we could do a whole lot more than what we have here. I'd love to do more with it, but it's customers' business than our facility. That should probably change. I may get some disagreement on that, but that's where we are right now with it. Thanks for the questions, Randy. I really appreciate that. Okay, next question. Greg Miller. He has a question about LMN. We talked about that a little bit last week. So how does your crew get their schedule when we use LMN? Do they use their own phone, or do you provide a phone? They use their own phones. And the reason being, we used to provide phones all the time for our employees, and they started coming to me saying, listen, I really don't need a company phone. I carry my phone around all the time. That means I have to carry 2 phones. So more and more people are kind of getting away from having, a company phone. At least in my experience, it works out better. They don't mind downloading the app on their phone. Sometimes I give them a couple bucks a month for their data package if they need it. So if they need that, then they'll come to me and ask me, and I'll take care of that for them. But primarily, I find that most people want to just use their own personal phones, and we really haven't had an issue with it. So I think that works out the best. Like I said, we use LMN. I think it's a good program. It's very easy to use. They have an app that you can use. So you can just download it right on your phone, and it works out really well. Hope that answers your question, Greg. And the next question is from High Point Landworks. All right, he says, "Hey Steve, nice to see you back at it." I'm glad to be back at it. "I have to say you're the first channel I subscribed to 2 years ago. Thank you. I appreciate that. Since then, I've really wanted to start doing some YouTube videos. Could you give me some tips on how to get the ball rolling?" He says he currently has an arsenal of DSLRs and dozens of lenses and equipment, so it's not an issue. More interested in editing software, first video content, and a few guidelines for success. Thanks for your input. Keep those videos coming. Jim from High Point Landworks. Hey Jim, thanks a lot. I never really got a question like this, so I think that's really cool. Most of my questions are about the landscape business and the landscape industry, and I'm not really an expert on YouTube, obviously. If I was, I'd have a lot more subs, but I'm working on it, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I think the biggest thing with YouTube is to try to learn from other people, maybe get some input from like you're doing now, I don't really have any kind of special, like I'm using my iPhone, and I would love to have a better camera. I have a nice little microphone that I bought, like a lapel mic, but I haven't really been using it. Other than that, I haven't spent a whole lot of money on that. I have Mac computers, so I use my Mac, and it comes with the iMovie software, and that's what I use. It works, in my opinion, it works well for what I'm doing with it. I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, an expert. Now, I can give you my opinion on the content. Again, I could probably use some help on that myself, but my opinion on the content is to just be honest, which is super hard. I try to be honest with you guys. I don't try to sugarcoat things or pretend that I'm somebody I'm not. When I'm doing these videos, I'm basically doing them. I'm putting myself out there, which is really weird for me, actually. But I have been doing public speaking and writing for many years in this industry, and I always thought that, well, this was a really good extension of that. So I started doing this, and I'm trying to kind of reach out to people that are in our industry and whatever we can do to help each other. So if you have valuable content and if you're honest, I think that's super important. I always say this, it's not about YouTube, it's about your business. And some guys are doing great. Like I'm sure there's guys that are doing really good with you. Maybe they're doing better with YouTube than they are with their business. I don't know, but I have to make my living with my company. That's what I do. I don't make any money off of YouTube right now. For me, my business is first. I mean, if I don't have a business, I really don't have content to put out on YouTube either. So it's a double-edged sword. Like what am I going to tell people, or what kind of content am I going to put out there if I don't have a company to kind of back me up? So I look at my company as it's like the vehicle that supplies the content for my YouTube videos when it comes to this particular channel. So I think some people might get wrapped up in the fact that YouTube is like the primary thing and their business is secondary, but that's not how I see it. I don't think that's the right way to do it, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, other than that, I find it hard to find the time to do this. For me, I'll start a video in the morning and then I don't finish it. You don't know how many videos I've started and I just don't finish them because I get so busy and I get so wrapped up in what's going on with my day that I don't get to finish the video. So that's why I'm thinking these 5 on Friday videos would be better, because that I can just do these once a week. I don't have to be out and about. I can be here in my office and do them and get out my content. So a little bit of a rambling rant there, but I hope I've answered your question. And I really appreciate it, Jim. So, hey, thanks a lot. Good luck with your channel. Let me know, and I will make sure I subscribe to it. Okay. Next question. Ryan Andres. How much do you raise prices on contract per year? 2% increase per year or more? Then with these increases, how do you structure, give out bonuses? I want to keep employees happy. Any fun ideas? Thanks. So I think it's a two-part question, right? So how do I raise prices? Some contracts I hold the prices for a couple of years. Some I have a built-in, increase. Sometimes I raise maybe the mulch and the fertilization part of the contract, but keep the base the same. It's all somewhat subjective to the customer and what their expectations are. And maybe they've increased some, maybe the contract's gotten bigger, so sometimes we have to raise the overall contract because of that. And there's other, factors that come into play. Sometimes we hold prices because it's kind of like a discount for us to get the multi-year business. So it's good for you because it's job security, and it's also good for them because they know they have the same amount of money that they're going to be spending in their budget. All right, that was the last question. I appreciate you guys watching. Keep the questions coming. Please ask more questions. I'd love to hear from you. Comments, questions, hit subscribe, share my video with your friends, let other people know about it. I really want to keep going with this, so let's keep it up. In the meantime, you guys keep rocking, and blast your problems away. I just got this stuff, so I thought it was kind of funny. Referencing my first question. Anyway, all right, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great day. We'll see you next week.